Already. Alright. Hello viewers. I'm back again. Eli Tutor. Don't forget to subscribe on this channel. So today we are going to be treating polynomial. So this is from MTS 101. So like I told you in the last video, I said we are going to be treating polynomial, set theory, calculus, that's integral calculus and differential calculus. So today we are going to be looking at the word polynomial. So looking at the board clearly, what is polynomial? They said a polynomial is what? Is an algebraic expression of the form a subscript n x superscript plus a subscript n minus 1 x plus dot dot dot, that is continuously a subscript 2 x is power 2 a subscript 1 x subscript 1 plus a naught. Alright, here they said n is either O or positives. You get, so like n, your n can be your from 0 to 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on what you are solving for, like the degree you are solving from. So that brought us down to what degree is. But remember, they said a subscript n, a subscript n minus 1, dot dot dot, a subscript 1, a naught are coefficients and are real numbers. Take note of that. It's very, very important. So like I was saying earlier on, because I said it depends on the degree, that is the power with which you are giving. So what is degree? The word degree. Degree is said to be what? The highest power. Don't forget I said depending on the power you are solving for, like depending on the degree you are solving for. So is what we determine your n. So degree is what we call the what? The highest power, of which we know as what? As our n. Now that brought us the highest power of what? Of variables. That brought us down to what roots are. So what are roots? Now let us suppose that the p of x is a polynomial and x equals to k, and your constant k is called, like when your x equals to k, is called the root of p of x, if and only if p of k is equals to 0. There's a difference between roots and a difference between factor. If I write something in this form, remember, let's assume I write something in this form, let's say k plus 2. The difference between k plus 2 and k equals to 2, the difference between this and this is that this one is regarded to as factor, while this one is regarded to as root, depending on the degree you are solving from. Don't forget that degree is what is the highest power of a given variable. Alright, let's proceed. Now, so that is all about roots. Alright. Unlike numbers, we can perform arithmetic operations. So that's for polynomials. You get that now. So we are going to be solving a typical examples. But before I start to solve, I would like to differentiate between, you have to know what we call dividend, divisor, like the dividend, divisors, quotient, and your remainder. So if I was supposing I was having a polynomial equation like ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d. So and I was asked to use this to divide this. That's let me suggest x minus k, for instance. So I am to use this one to divide this. So the one we have inward here is what we call our dividend. What do I call it? Dividend. What you have here, the longest one, like the longest chain, like you call in chemistry, longest equation here with a degree of 3 is what you call your dividend. You get that? Dividend. So what you have here is what you call your divisor, because we are using this one to divide this. So that is why it is called a divisor. So whatever you are having as a result here, like whatever you are ending up as a result here, is what you call the remainder. Is what you call the remainder. Then whatever you have here, if you're having anything here, but most times whatever the result you have here is always expressed in form of your quadratic equation. So at the end of the day, you can be ending up with mx squared nx plus what? O. So whatever you are having here is what we call our quotient. So don't forget, what you have here is called quotient. If you have to find your quotient, what you have here is called your dividend, and what you have here is called your divisor, and what you have here is called your remainder. Alright, we shall proceed. So, but let me take you back. Don't forget, by the time you get your results, if you want to check if your answer is totally correct, when you multiply the result you get here with what you have here, at the end of the day, it should bring us back to the dividend. If you are not getting that, it means that something is wrong somewhere. Take note of that. Alright, let's solve an example we have here. So I'm going to be treating division of polynomial. The division of polynomial. So it's in two ways we can solve the division of polynomial, either by the factor theorem or the long division method. But I see it to be like most students usually have issues when it comes to dividing an equation by a long division method, using the long division method. So I'm going to be treating that aspect. So probably when time permits, we are going to go back to those simple examples. But this particularly is what come out mostly in exams. Maybe your ITS, your GPEB, your A level, your 100 levels. Alright, let's go. Alright, we have a question here. Okay, where is it? Okay, here we have it. Question 1. We are told to divide the polynomial. Divide the polynomial 6s cubed plus 150s squared plus 5x by 15x. Let's start with a simple example. So, solution. Alright, using what? Using the long division method. That will work for this. So you have it this way. So between this and this, which one will be our divisor and which one will be our dividend? What you are using to divide the long one will be your divisor, that's your 15x. And this long equation is called your what? Your dividend. That's your 6s cubed plus 150s squared plus 5x. So that's what we have as our dividend. This is our dividend and this is our divisor. So what is the first thing? If you want to solve something like this, very easy. What is the first expression you're having in this long expression? We're having 6s cubed. So note it out. We're having 6s cubed divided by, the first one you're having is 6s cubed, right? So this is the 6s cubed divided by, the first one you're having here is, even if you have 15x plus 2, the first one you're having here should be your consideration. Do you understand that? The first one you should have here is the first one, which should be your 15x. Do you get that now? So I'm just letting you to know in case you have maybe 15x plus something. So the first one here is what you should be considered about. So the first one here divided by the first expression here from the given long expression, that's 15x is what we have here. Alright, x cancel x, we are left with s squared. Then this, what we go here, 3 will go in the both, that we are having 2 over what? Over 3. 3 will go here, 2, 3 will go here, 5, sorry. 2 over 5 remainder what? S squared. 2 over 5 s squared. This divided by this, we are having 2 over 5 s squared. So this one is 2 over 5 s squared. Alright. So now what's the next thing? Remember I said, when we started, I said this one divided by the first one here. The first expression here divided by the first expression here. We are not having a partner for this, so obviously the fourth expression here. So you're having the result of this. So the result you got here, so make sure you multiply it by the factor here that you are putting here. So these 2x here that you got here, then you now use it to multiply what you have here. So we are having 2 over 5 s squared multiplied by 15. 5 here, this 15x, 5 here 1, 5 here 3, right? 5 here 3 multiplied by 2. That's what? That's 6. Then x multiplied by x squared, that's 6s cubed. Do you get that? Then you lay your underline here. So then you subtract, let's assume this to be equation 1, equation 2. You subtract equation 2 from 1. Do you understand? So this removed from this is gone. This one is gone. It remains what? 150. You bring this 2 down. 150s squared plus what? 5x. Is that clear? So now you will repeat the same process the way we started. What is the first one here? The first one here is what? The first one here is 150s squared divided by this same first one here. This one we use it continuously until we arrive to our destination. Is that clear? We are going to use this one until we arrive to our destination. The first one here divided by the first one, you are repeating the same process. So 150x squared divided by 15x. So now this one take care of this. We have 15, we have x here. Then this one here we have 10x. So we add what? Plus 10x here. Is that clear? That's very simple. So this 10x that we got here, we use it to multiply this one the way we did. So this 10x, you might see, be conscious of the sign, is very important. So this plus 10x multiplied by plus invisible 15x here. So we are still having what? 150x squared. Put your result here. So this one is what? Equation 3 and what? Equation 4 is having nothing there. So the same thing you did here, you apply it here. So you subtract equation 4 from 3. So we are left with what? Our remainder here is what? 5x. So I think we should stop here. We shouldn't proceed. So now this one suffices that at the end of the day, when we are dividing this one by this, we are having our quotient to be this. This is our quotient, and this is our given divisor. This is our dividend, and this is our remainder. Is that clear? In case it depends the way the question may come. If they just ask you to divide, just divide and just leave the answer like this. Well, if you are given option, you should know where you are going. So at the end of the day, if you multiply this one by this one, you will end up having this result. It is very, very simple. If you multiply this your quotient, multiply by divisor, we give you a dividend. The product of your quotient and your divisor is what makes up your dividend. It's very easy. So we are going to be looking at the last example for today. The last page. Oh. All right. The last example for today. All right. We have they said that question 2, perform the polynomial division by factorization. That's 3x squared minus 4x plus 1 divided by. No worry, your payment is intact. I will initial